Alright, good afternoon. Welcome back to Three Swords Gaming. We're going to continue our 0 to 0 playthrough here on its second iteration. And I had hoped to get here in time, since I got off a little earlier today, to try and grab Modnir for our Mistward armor. However, I'm not sure that it's actually going to happen for us. It doesn't look like that's going to take place here. And it may be because meta events did not happen properly. What do we got going on like way up here? We got some random centaurs, but Modnir's just hanging out. It's been a long time since I've done this, so I'm not sure if there's one particular pre that needs to take place, but I don't think that's the case. I think like really it's not going to happen on this map. So kind of a buzzkill. I wanted to hurry up and get logged in in the hope of maybe catching that, but I don't even see, like, if you go to map, yeah, I don't even see where, like, this is contested, so I don't know, like, what it would require for this to happen. Certainly I've done, like, the meta that or the pre-event that takes place right here, like where we are now, plenty of times leading up to this. And it's preceded, if I'm not mistaken, by a pre-event that happens over in this camp. But we got 14 and a half minutes to get that done, and like aside from some folks hanging out, there's nothing happening here. No, they do work on Vernbrink. The ley line and updrafts for mounts do work in Heart of Thorns, and in whatever other content, season 3 and so forth. As far as I know, I've never had it not work. But because the Heart of Thorns maps were designed to where, they were designed when mounts weren't a thing and the updraft was the only option, generally speaking, you don't need to catch an updraft on a mount. Whereas in Secrecy Obscure maps, that's actually hugely beneficial. So, and that's going to be any content in the game, right? It's designed with whatever they, generally most games, not just Guild Wars 2, but most games are not future-proofed very well. So I think that's true of Guild Wars 2 as well. They designed content for the game at that time. Heart of Thorns was not designed with mounts in mind. Path of Fire was not designed with, I don't know, whatever, skiffs or whatever in mind. Alright, we got something for our Mistward armor. Happy about that. That would definitely take priority over Tida. Let's look again. Be best if it was in training, which of course it's not. Yeah, so there's Kaineng Overlook. Oh man, and they're at 8 out of 10. I really wanted to get it in a training group, but you know what? We're gonna do it anyway. We need to take advantage of the opportunity. Oh no, where's the? All right, fine. We'll waypoint. We'll choke down the cost and waypoint literally as far as we can possibly waypoint on this map. 1091. Nice. Totally worth it. Because this isn't a training run, if they let me stay in the group, I'm going to be the worst person in this party. How many times have I done KO? 3 times. Wonder if that's enough. Everyone in group 1, go DPS, please. I am DPS-ish. I will do my best to do DPS. Man, I hope I'm not the albatross here. I'd feel terrible about that. I would also be embarrassed if I got kicked, because that doesn't feel good. But I also just don't want to be the worst one. We're waiting on one. Well. we got everyone here. Yeah, we got a lot of experience in here. Just working off mastery points exclusively. There are a couple folks down where the scout's at. We got party assembly. All right. Numbers out of the group lined up against the north wall if possible. Okay. I'm glad that the comm said something about that, because that was the part that I did not remember. Oh my gosh. I immediately embarrassed myself. Well, that's good. Let's redeem ourselves by, like, doing things. God. That was 100% my fault for not paying attention to. And taking a beating in chat, which I deserve. And this is where, when I experience stress with, like, strikes and raids, this is where. Because I hate the feeling of being the weak link. I hate the feeling of having let people down, which I did. So, like, let there be no confusion. I made a mistake that was preventable. And now I'm dead, and the group has, like, one person less to do all the things, to apply DPS, or to potentially, draw targeting from Lee, or whatever the case may be. So the group is weaker because of my mistake, and that creates, like, anxiety for me that I don't enjoy. Certainly, practice makes perfect. So I guess if I were to push through that and, like, do this regularly, then I would experience that anxiety less. But just the same, not a good feeling. And also, I thought you could use revive orbs now, or maybe that was fractals where you can use revive orbs now. But regardless, I don't have them, so it's irrelevant. So frustrating to watch other people have to pick up like your slack. If it feels like a long time, I guess it should with 3 people down. That shouldn't seem odd. Oh, guild trek? Yeah, no, guild trek is great for a guild, like a solo guild, because you can actually do the easy guild trek by yourself. Um, so that's like back in the day when I was actually like working on a guild hall by myself, which I quit doing because it was just um, a lot of work. Um, but when I was undertaking that endeavor, guild trek was the way that I would get the what is it called? What is it called? The influence or whatever. All right, so we're gonna reset, which is a bummer, and I feel like over the long run, me not dying would be super helpful when it comes to not having that happen. Um, was it favor or was it called something else after that? I can't remember now. It's been so long since I've actually worked on a guild hall that I don't remember what it was called. All right, kudos, massive kudos, actually, to this commander, who has patience. I appreciate that. Because it is easy. You know, if you're good at something and other people aren't as good at it, it's easy to get frustrated. And I can appreciate that. Yeah, so the interesting thing about like guild halls and the expectations, like the way, the cost and the effort associated with upgrading guild halls, because they imagined like huge groups of people doing it. So then like small guilds and clearly like individuals, like it doesn't really work, right? Um, and that's too bad. And all the more need for a housing system, in my opinion. I can't see which way he's facing. All right, well, I didn't die that fast that time, so I definitely something to be happy about. Wow, I'd almost forgotten about those circles too. I'm glad I didn't forget about that. Yeah, I would love a housing system too. And in fact, I think it's kind of a shame that there isn't a housing system. So I was fully expecting it to be part of an expansion at some point in time, and probably still do sooner or later. Um, for whatever reason, that hasn't happened yet. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. I would love to see it. I think they can make so much money off that, and I think man, that Untamed skill like makes it really hard to see the screen, especially when I'm in Shroud. I think what's the word I'm looking for? Elder Scrolls Online. I think Elder Scrolls Online has shown us, that it can work and that you can make a ton of money because they sell houses for what, like massive amounts of money in that game. 60, 70 bucks, something like that, right? Oh, I don't have it. Someone else had it who was standing right next to me. Alright, well this is going better, in part because I'm not doing nearly as bad. Yeah, I definitely think it would, like, players would be... Like, I think it could bring people into the game because it's something that I think is currently perceived as missing from the game. So I think that'd be great. You know, do they have the ability to, like, handle it in terms of technology? That is a valid question, and I don't know the answer to that. Oh no, I did it again. Alright, doing better than I did last time. It is a strike. So one of the objectives for this playthrough for me is turtle. So whereas I normally avoid strikes because it's normally content that stresses me out, completing this strike is going to help us towards getting turtle. It's actually the single greatest obstacle towards getting turtle. It's the hardest thing, in my opinion, to do during that process. So when I saw that, like, it was today's daily strike, I figured, you know, let's do what we can. Like if we can get it done, then it'll be done. So even though I normally am not a huge fan of strikes, it made the most sense to go ahead and get it knocked out today. I do feel like I am very much the weak link in my squad right now, and I hate that feeling. That feeling is actually the reason that I try to avoid strikes, generally speaking, because I hate feeling like the weak link. However, if I can just avoid being the thing that, you know, if I can avoid being the reason that we wipe, and I can get through this strike, then I'll feel okay about that. Because I hate that feeling. And earlier in this strike, we did have to reset, and I felt like I was part of the reason, and it felt so bad. There were several people dead, but I was among them, and it was just like, man, like, I felt bad at life, you know? Not a good feeling. Can't get them up. Are we not going to finish this? Am I wrong about... Oh, we're just trying to get people up right now.
I was in some deep trouble there.
Alright, so we just need to get the mech. Which presumably we're like real close to here. And then we should just have to finish off Lee after that. So I feel like in the grand scheme of things, Even though that first pull went really bad and I felt bad about it, I feel like we're doing pretty good now.
A brilliant ember.
I'll dispose of you myself.
Yep, that was partially my fault as well.
I am deafened.
Still pushing buttons for no reason. Yeah, that's where my anxiety when it comes to strikes comes from. It's not that it feels bad that something's hard. It feels bad that if I'm the reason that we're doing badly. And now I feel that again. Like when I die in a strike, that's the feeling I get, and it's the feeling I have like right now, is because I'm not up. I'm afraid, and that's only like partially true, right? I'm not the only one dead. There's 4 people dead. I'm not the only one making mistakes. I wasn't the first one to die this time. Like there were several people down when I died. But I can't escape that feeling, and it is what in fairness, it's what keeps me out of this content generally. But I think if you like step back and take like a holistic view of it, if you are that person, then strikes are like strikes and raids are not your content, and I think that's okay. I don't think they're designed like not everything in the game is right for everybody, and I think that's okay for that to be the case. Um, these guys look like they're going to finish it off. It looks like we're going to get our turtle component, and I need to be grateful to them. I think that's an important part of this process. Is if I'm kind of pseudo getting carried, I don't feel like I got carried it completely through this. Like there were times when I felt like I was doing okay, but I got carried more than not, and so I owe it to people to like be grateful. Um,
Time to do some real damage.
so they genuinely, these folks in this group like truly have my gratitude because I don't feel like I did that well, and they helped me with something, and so I owe them my gratitude for sure. And we got a thing we wanted. We missed Tata. I also want thank you for being chill, calm. I do appreciate it. Like I mean, it's the least I can do is say thank you. Um, huge help from folks. And that I suppose that aspect of MMORPGs is like the beneficial side that a lot of people really like, right? They like it when folks help each other out and when there's a sense of um, cooperation and collaboration. And people should like that. Like that's a win for everybody involved, right? Because now I forgot what I was saying. Commander actually replied when I said thank you, and I appreciated that too. So I wanted to make sure I close the loop on that conversation. Oh yeah, my job. I get a lot of that sense of like collaboration and cooperation at my job, and I appreciate that about my work. So I don't necessarily rely on Guild Wars 2 for that. And that's not a dig on Guild Wars 2. It's just that's not what I play this game for. So it's probably not an aspect of the game that I utilize as fully as I should, or that I enjoy as much as I should. So great afternoon in that regard. Even though it kind of did not feel good to feel like the weak link, it did feel good to get that done. And we got a master point. Albeit for... Or no, it was an Ender Dragon's master point, because that was an Ender Dragon strike. Man, you know what we need? We need this for open world stuff. I almost feel... We're already halfway through that, though. Yeah, I mean, for me, I 100% agree. For me, like, the toxic environment... You know what was really eye-opening for me? At my last assignment in the Army before I retired, I ended up with another service member who was working with me. And we were working long shifts in the middle of the night, so plenty of time to just kind of BS and talk about different things. And I was talking about the fact that I played Guild Wars 2. And they were like, oh, I've tried that out a few times. It's a pretty good game, but it just didn't stick. And when we got to kind of, when we got into the conversation of why it didn't stick for them, they actually said it didn't stick for them because it wasn't toxic enough. And I was kind of blown away. And apparently the types of games that they really enjoyed were like really toxic games where people were very aggressive towards each other. They enjoyed like super competitive games with like a very heavy... They enjoyed open world PvP in their MMOs. They enjoyed other games with like a very high like PvP, like a lot of PvP content where players were really actively aggressive and toxic towards each other. And I was really surprised because I had never met somebody who very overtly said, I prefer toxicity in my games. And we kind of got a chance to talk about it for a little bit because as a coworker, they were not toxic. As a service member, this person was a good service member and was, they were lower rank than me. So as a subordinate, so to speak, or as someone lower ranking, I found them to be a good service member. They were not insubordinate. They were not a toxic service member to have under my leadership. They were very reliable at their job and all around a good member of the team. So to hear this about them was really surprising. I'm like, wow, really? Like that's your thing? But it was their thing, and so it was kind of eye-opening for me that those people were out there, because I didn't know that there was actually like a market for just outright toxicity, but apparently there is. So I kind of learned something new in that particular situation. And it did alter my perception of certain games and even of certain things in Guild Wars 2. I always assumed that like the toxicity of structured PvP was like always a problem. And I guess maybe there's some folks who actually enjoy it. It'd be really interesting for like a genuine study, which clearly I don't have the expertise to do. But I do have the expertise to... But hey, oh, there they are, thruster plate. It costs 16 gold? I didn't remember that. Is the turtle going to cost us a mess of gold? I had no idea. Should we get this while we're here? Might as well. I mean, it's right there. Save us from doing the heart again, I guess. Alright, well, thruster plans, 16 gold. Alright, we're genuinely going to need to get some gold with Astral Acclaim here soon. How much Astral Acclaim are we up to now? We're up to almost 1100. And that's even after we already got the legendary thing, too. Don't know if we're going to use it or not. We'll see. It might be worth just, like, buying gold. But maybe not right here where I'm literally, like, having people, like, smack me in the head. You know what, let's just, let's make this... I'm still in combat. That'll work. Alright. Well, we're in a safe place. What was I going to look at, though? Oh, yeah, Astral Claim. That's what it was. Yeah, you know, so 6. I mean, how many times does 6 go into 85? 72, 78, 84 is like 14 times 6. We could get 14 gold and still be over 1,000 Astral Claim. Alright, nice. Recoup some of that gold. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this off camera. There's nothing exciting about it. Why don't we... Oh, my turtle. My turtle's following me around. But probably appropriate to wrap things up today because we're that much closer. We got a couple steps closer to getting our turtle. And that's all good. Really, that's interesting. But Guild Wars 2 does, in fairness to the studio and to the folks who have, you know, like something to say about the issue, like one way or the other. My personal opinion is that they did a pretty good job of creating a game that allows you to be comfortable in the environment and allows you to be like chill. And generally, that's why my gameplay is what it is it keeps me chill, and comfortable and my goal is to be happy while I'm gaming. And generally speaking, Guild Wars 2 does that. In fact, that's one of the strengths. That's why I've stuck in the game for so long. So I'm definitely with you in that regard. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you have an awesome one too. And I'm very pleased with where we're at in terms of more masteries, more turtle. And we'll keep plugging on it again tomorrow. So thank you. You have a good one.